What is up, my fellow Chibits? It's been a while since I sat down and did a volume review of Pandora Hearts. This is going to be Volume 3 review of Pandora Hearts, and if this is your first time ever seeing me talk about Pandora Hearts, or the first time you're ever hearing about this series, I will have the links to my Volume 1 and Volume 2 review in the description down below for you to check it out for yourself, because I will be diving straight into this volume and talking about spoilers if you have not, watched the anime up to this point, or if you have never read the manga. So, actually, one quick thing I want to mention before I even get into this volume review, there was a news announcement just recently, I think about a day ago, that the mangaka of Pandora Hearts is going to be writing a new manga series. And as we know, Pandora Hearts has already been concluded. It just recently ended a couple months ago. And that's what really inspired me to start doing reviews of Pandora Hearts. And since we have a new series from the mangaka coming very soon, I decided, you know what, I need to really dive in. I need to get Pandora Hearts out of the way before I can do chapter reviews of this upcoming series by the mangaka. So that's what really inspired this video. Even though I'm getting back into my backlog, I really want to start catching up since we have a new series coming out. So yeah, Volume 3. We come to find out more about Oz's psyche, what made him like he is, why he's broken. We come to find out more about Gil and some of his backstory and what drives him to be the servant of his master. And I mean, there's just so much good characterization in this volume. I just want to take a quick, brief moment to discuss that. Pandora Hearts, say what you will, you gotta admit that the characterization of some of our characters like Oz and Gil is pretty damn good. So let's dive into Oz. If you remember, in my last volume review, Volume 2 of Pandora Hearts, I focused on Oz being broken. He was very different from the normal main male character. Something was off about him. Something was wrong. He didn't act like the normal main male character. He smiled in the face of anything that was happening in front of him, anything that was dark and sinister. For instance, when he was in the abyss and he was smiling and eating cookies, it was the first sign that we saw that Oz was a fucked up individual. And that is perfectly showcased in this volume, and finding out what made Oz like he is, or some of the circumstances that caused him to be or behave like he does in current present time. So, we get a flashback, and this flashback is narrated by Gil. Gil is the one telling the story to Alice, and Alice gets to finally hear more about her contractor, Oz. So, Oz, in the past, he was very alone, and in his loneliness, he eventually met Gil. And so Oz hit the books. He hit the books, he started studying, he started doing all sorts of research or anything he possibly could do to make it to where his father could acknowledge him and say like, oh, I'm proud of you, son. So Oz spent time after time, hours upon hours, days upon days, or months and years upon years, studying and doing what he could to have his father acknowledge him, which in turn led to nothing. One day, Oz broke down. He was upset because no matter what he did, no matter how hard he tried, no matter how hard he was on himself for wanting to be better, even when he says, like, I'm doing my best, he knew he wasn't doing his best, because if he has time to say that, he probably wasn't at his best. So he did everything he could to get better. He was really hard on himself, and for a child of his age, that is scary, but it also shows you what type of mental state he was already at that time, being with a lack of a father and mother at the time, and having some form of foster father, which was his uncle. So, the only person he really had to comfort him at the time was Gil, his uncle, and his sister. And he wanted the love of his father, which he never got. And one day, Gil, feeling sorry for his master and wanting to do something for him, when Oz's father is there, he goes out and confronts Oz's father and says, why aren't you visiting him? Like, could you not give him these flowers? Could you not go visit your son? I mean, he's been doing so many things to try to get you to acknowledge him. Why aren't you talking to him? And then eventually you have it to where the father, like, grabs the flowers, looks at Gil, and is like, I have nothing to do with that vile creature. Like, he shouldn't have been born. And then Oz was right there hearing that. And then when Oz goes to protect Gil, his father's like, don't touch me, you vile creature. As a child, if you heard that from your parent, imagine how you would feel. Just think about this for a second. If you were a child, age 8, 7, 5, 10, 15, doesn't matter what age actually, if you heard that from your own father, your own parents, how would you feel? Majority of people, if they cared for their parents, or if they spent hours upon hours, days upon days, or years upon years studying for this said parent, I mean, this said parent to give you this type of treatment and say you're vile, you shouldn't have been born, slaps you away, don't touch me, how would you react to something like that? So, right off the bat, I gotta say, Oz's father is nominated for one of the worst fathers I've ever seen in manga. Just seeing how he acted and treated Oz in this volume alone is pretty fucking disgusting. Just to see what he did to his son, and that's what led Oz into the type of mental state he is currently in, when not even really caring for his life, along with just smiling in situations he should not really smile in at all. So, besides that, though, we also come to find out the connection with Gil and Oz, and what really drives Gil, or why Gil is so connected with Oz. He has this connection with Oz that's almost to a sickening level. And Break mentions this. He mentions, like, why do you think so highly of your master? Why do you love him so much? Why do you go after him or care for him after all these years? Break asks these questions. Most manga readers probably at this time would be asking the exact same question, like, why would you want to help out this spoiled child, or this child that doesn't really care for his life? Even though we found out about Oz and why he acts like he does, why would anyone want to go that far for someone and deal with the issues of what they do? For instance, like jumping in front of your gun and almost getting shot or almost dying constantly. I mean, how would any normal person deal with that? So it goes to show you that Gil is not all that right in the head as well. He is probably broken just as much as Oz, but that is saved for another time. Break says something that I feel like foreshadows something that we might expect in the future. He talks about how Gil is like a blade. He loves his master so much he is a blade. He's a very strong and tempered blade. But one day, that blade will be turned against his friends, Alice and Oz. And so this will come to affect him in the near future. The way Break was talking about that, it seemed like that was set up or foreshadowing something very bad happening in the future. Maybe Gil dying or sacrificing himself for them, or something else happening in the future. But whatever it is, it was definitely ominous and something that will happen very soon. And speaking of that, Break also indirectly reveals some of his backstory with that dialogue. Something very similar happened to Break, where he lost his eye because of him caring about someone so much that it hurt them in the process. So whatever happened to Break in the past, I do hope that is revealed very soon, because I personally don't remember if that was ever revealed in the anime. I do know the anime went off into anime original and completely destroyed, you know, the manga. But I do know that there were some things, or like the first half of it was not really changed at all, and it did follow the manga. So I don't remember if Break's reasoning behind that was ever revealed or not, but I completely forgot. So yeah, getting back onto it though, we come to find out Break and Gil's connection, and why they were working together, and why they were trying to save Oz at the events of Volume 1. So, according to what we found out, was that Break is using Gil to infiltrate the Night Rays. And we come to find out that Gil has a long-lost brother. It is revealed or hinted at, it's not directly stated, but it's hinted at that Gil has a brother, and his brother is Vincent, someone that is in the Night Rays. And Gil doesn't remember any of his past, and the circumstances behind Vincent and Gil are very similar to how they arrived at the respective dukes or duke houses. And you have it to where these two, they make a connection, they talk, and you have it to where Gil is going to be using anyone around him to be able to do what he wants to set out to do. For instance, save his master or protect his master for the longest he can live. And to see that, you have it to where Gil is able to get the chain, which is the raven. For instance, like this crow or raven inside of this door down in the Night Rays basement, which we come to find out some world building actually about the series, to where there is like 4 or 5 doors or whatever, 4 or 5 doors that have chains, these special chains that are given to each individual house, and each individual houses are able to access the abyss through these chains, and they have, you know, like their own represented strength. So it's kind of like, you know, if you're reading a manga or a political manga, they have their own like super weapon, that keeps them from killing each other. It's kind of like, you know, how our real world is today. Majority of the big countries have nukes, and nobody really wants to get into a real war, or will be nuking the fuck out of each other. That's kind of what this is. So yeah, I mean, this volume of Pandora Hearts, it's pretty damn good. I like the characterization. I like getting to find out the foreshadowing with Break and Gil. I like finding out more about the chains and the world building, along with the setup in the future for a possibility of something tragic to happen to Gil. Now, we do know that, besides that, we can obviously see Alice is starting to grow more connected with Oz. Like, she's starting to care for him a little bit more. The way she was, you know, reacting, wanting to find out more about Oz's past, you can see that she is starting to care for him. So I'm liking the connection between those two, and I do wonder if Pandora Hearts is going to have any sort of romance in the future. I mean, I think there is, but I don't really know. I wonder if it will focus on romance in the near future, or if there will be a conclusion to the romance with, like, maybe Alice and Oz getting together towards the end of the series, which would be pretty cool, by the way. But, yeah, that's my thoughts of Volume 3 of Pandora Hearts. Tell me your thoughts in the comments below. You all have a wonderful day or not, wherever you live, and let me know, do you want another review of Pandora Hearts? I mean, let me know in the comments below. I mean, do you want it very soon? It depends on all the feedback, depending on how fast to get out the next volume review of Pandora Hearts. I might just read it all in one go, but tell me your thoughts in the comments below. You all have a wonderful day or night, wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.